Welcome to Yatim Khana and Madrasa Anjuman Khairul Islam's Pune College of Art, Science and Commerce, Camp Pune 1. Myself, Dr. Arif Tamboli, working as Associate Professor in the Department of Electronic Science. Today we are going to study the topic which is called Astable Multivibrator using op-amp means operational amplifier. So all of you know that Astable Multivibrator is a circuit which generates square wave at the output. And the definition of Astable Multivibrator is very simple. In case of a stable multivibrator, if there is a square wave at the output, then in square wave there is high voltage level, that is logic 1. In case of square wave, there is a low voltage level, that is logic 0. But in case of a stable multivibrator, neither HVL is permanent nor LVL is permanent. Sometime HVL is there and sometime LVL is there. So in this way, a stable multivibrator generates the square wave. A stable multivibrator, by using op-amp 741, generates a square wave which is having HVL equal to plus VCC, that is power supply applied to the op-amp, and LVL equal to minus VE, that is negative power supply applied to the op-amp. Because in a stable multivibrator, using op-amp 741, we are applying dual power supply plus VCC and minus VE. Therefore, here square wave is generated such that HVL is above x-axis, that is plus VCC, and LVL is below x-axis, that is minus VEE. In case of IC555, LVL was on x-axis because LVL was 0 volt in case of IC555, because in IC555 single power supply is used. Now let us start here. A stable multivibrator. Operational amplifier is a high voltage gain and single-ended output. Its output is pin number 6 and it is a single-ended. Due to high open loop voltage gain, a small difference between input V1 and V2. How much small it is? 5 to 10 millivolt only. A small difference between V1 and V2 causes the amplifier's output to approach to the supply voltage either plus VCC or minus VEE, depending on magnitude of V1 and V2 or vice versa. If V inverting is less than V non-inverting, or it can be read as V non-inverting is greater than V inverting. So here V non-inverting is here 4 volt, V inverting is 2 volt. In that case, output voltage of the op-amp is plus VCC as shown below. So here x-axis is there, y-axis. So this output voltage V out, observe here, it is above x-axis V out and it is equal to HVL equal to plus VCC. Means if your power supply is 12 volt, of course plus, then it will be plus 12 volt. So these are the basics applications operations of the op-amp. Now once again here it is written the difference in the input voltage of 5 millivolt to 10 millivolt is sufficient to change the output voltage of the op-amp. Means difference between V1 and V2 only 5 to 10 millivolt is sufficient. Depending on the number of the op-amp, there are various ICs. Now in this stable multivibrator, by using op-amp, we are going to use potential divider circuit. So that's why once again I just go for the revision. R1 and R2 are the two resistors connected in series. Vin with respect to ground DC power supply is applied. Junction is taken output and it is V out. So the formula is very simple. V out is equal to R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into Vin. R2 is the lower resistor, R1 is the upper resistor. Now this potential divider circuit, what we will do? First of all, I will just explain you the op-amp which is having inverting voltage greater than non-inverting. Means 5 volt is that inverting, then 2 volt is at non-inverting. So all of you know that for this op-amp, the output voltage, see here the graph, will be in LVL, low voltage level, because voltage at inverting minus pin is greater than voltage at non-inverting. So output you see here blue line, so it is below x-axis LVL. How much LVL it is there? Now we have considered in our example plus 12 volt as a power supply and minus 12 volt as a negative power supply. Plus 12 volt positive, minus 12 volt negative. So here plus VCC plus 12 volt, minus VA minus 12 volt. Therefore output will be minus 12 volt. So this output. Now just 1 minute before we studied potential divider circuit that we connected here R1 and R2, and this is the ground. Therefore at this junction of the potential divider circuit, Vx is equal to, same formula we will use here which we have used over here, Vx equal to R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into V out. So here this V out will be the input as a power supply to this potential divider circuit. Therefore it is very simple. the Vx voltage will be minus 6 volt, because our output voltage of the op-amp, if output voltage equal to minus 12 volt, because power supply is plus 12 and minus 12, so now our output of op-amp is in LVL, so it is minus 12 volt, then Vx equal to minus 6 volts, and this minus 6 volt we are going to connect to the inverting input, and we are going to remove this. Step by step we'll proceed now. Now here in this formula, Vx is equal to R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into Vout. So ratio of R2 divided by R1 plus R2 will consider as a beta, and always we consider or will take into consideration R1 equal to R2 for the simplicity of calculation. Here see, consider beta is equal to R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So instead of writing 3 resistors again and again, let us write a short form. So here now next case, when voltage at non-inverting means positive terminal is greater than voltage at inverting, you know output of op-amp is in HVL, high voltage level. Now this high voltage level output we have given to the potential divider circuit, same potential divider circuit. Now this potential divider circuit, R1 upper, R2 lower, Vx is the junction point, so Vx is equal to R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into Vout. So here this Vout is in HVL means plus 12 volt, because HVL equal to plus VCC, and here if Vout equal to plus 12 volt, then Vx equal to plus 6 volt for R1 equal to R2. So I already told you that we are considering R1 equal to R2, and here again let us consider beta equal to R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Therefore R1 and R2 are the same, therefore beta will become half. So this is a very basic simple blocks which already studied in the symmetry trigger also. So now let us proceed for one more new circuit which is used in a stable multivibrator designed by using IC741, that is operational amplifier. This circuit is also very simple. So in this circuit you see here a 9 volt DC battery is taken, a resistor R and capacitor C is taken, they are in series, and there is a switch. So this switch S is single pole double throw. Single pole double throw. You can throw the switch on this side, pin number 1, or you can throw the switch on pin number 2. Now when the switch is at pin number 1, 9 volt battery will get connected to the RC circuit. 9 volt battery will get connected to the RC circuit, and initially suppose we have taken a capacitor which was discharged, therefore this capacitor will start charging from 0 volt towards 9 volt. From 0 volt towards 9 volt, but capacitor charges exponentially, because in this circuit at a time t is equal to 0, when we throw the switch S to the position number 1, because in this circuit at a time t is equal to 0, when we throw the switch S to the position number 1, at that time capacitor was discharged, therefore voltage at this terminal was 0 volt, and this terminal will be at 9 volt when switch is close to the pin number 1. So potential difference across resistor R equal to 9 volt minus 0 volt is equal to 9 volt. So at a time t is equal to 0, maximum potential difference is there, therefore large amount of current starts flowing. But as time increases, let us see here. So this is the charging of the capacitor. So see here on this axis, y-axis, there is a voltage across capacitor, and on this axis there is a time. So the time is given in 1 RC, 2 RC, 3 RC, 4 RC, where R and C are the values of resistor and capacitor. So now this capacitor charges exponentially like this, because the potential difference at a time t is equal to 0 was maximum of the 9 volt, and thereafter as capacitor charges, this voltage goes on increasing. Suppose it becomes 2 volt, then potential difference, this point is 9 volt only, because it is short circuited directly to the 9 volt battery is positive. So 9 volt minus 2 volt, potential difference 7 volt. So 7 volt potential difference is less than 9 volt, therefore current will flow less. Then again capacitor charges, suppose 5 volt. So 9 volt is here, and here capacitor voltage is 5 volt. So 9 volt minus 5 volt equal to 4 volt. So 4 volt potential difference is further less as compared to 7 volt as well as 9 volt. Therefore current goes on decreasing, and therefore it is said that in this circuit the current is not constant and capacitor charges exponentially, and in this way voltage across capacitor goes on increasing. So here how to what value the capacitor will charge, because battery is of the 9 volt. So see here it is a 9 volt, and how long time it will take, see here it is a 5 RC time constant. So it is a another part. Now just you remember that capacitor charges exponentially when you connect the switch S to the position number 1, because battery gets connected to the capacitor through resistor R. Now when you want to discharge the capacitor, just by removing this switch, you cannot discharge, because to discharge the capacitor, you must short circuit the capacitor through the resistor or directly. Through the resistor or directly. Now we'll throw the position of the switch S to the position number 2. Therefore, when it goes here, it is simple to understand this point will get short circuited through this black wire and capacitor will start discharging. So in this way, to discharge the capacitor, you must throw the switch to the position number 2. Therefore, capacitor will get short circuited through the resistor R and discharging will take place. Again, remember, discharging also starts, because if it is charged to the 9 volt, so discharging will start from 9 volt, and discharging also will take exponentially. So capacitor will discharge exponentially, capacitor will charge exponentially. And in case of unstable multivibrator circuit, we are going to charge the capacitor C through the resistor R only. So this circuit only we are using, but instead of this power supply 9 volt, remember, we are connecting this terminal to the plus VCC, that is output of the op amp, which is equal to Vout. So output of the op amp, you know, Vout is either plus VCC or minus VEE. So here this point we are going to connect to the output of the op amp, means plus VCC, that is called your VSAT plus, that is called HUL, as well as this point will get connected to the output of the op amp, where permanently HUL is not there, means permanently Vout will not remain in plus VCC. Sometime it will be in LVL also. So that point will be in minus 12 volt, that is minus VEE. So this terminal will get connected to the plus 12 volt and minus 12 volt, that you will understand after some time. So here, these are the basic blocks and basic understanding which we must have before proceeding to the unstable multivibrator designed by using IC 741. Now let us proceed to the circuit diagram of a stable multivibrator using op amp. So see, what I told you, we are using the op amp, inverting, non-inverting pin. We are using the potential divider circuit R1 and R2. So this potential divider circuit, this point is the junction point, let us say X point. Voltage at this point will be given by this formula, you know. In this formula, R1 and R2 are we have taken equal. Therefore, this will be beta and it is half. And here into Vout. Now here into Vout means this Vout is not going to remain neither in HVL permanently nor in LVL. Sometime it is HVL equal to plus VCC equal to plus 12 volt, and sometime it is in LVL equal to minus VE equal to minus 12 volt. So we'll see the operation. So initially this circuit you try to understand, op amp is there, potential divider circuit is there, and output of the op amp is given to the capacitor C through the resistor R. Now only the thing here R and C were vertical, exactly, but now this R I have taken as a horizontal because it is used in feedback resistor of the op amp, here this R, and capacitor is over here, and the junction point where the capacitor starts charging through R, the voltage across capacitor is given to the inverting input pin of the op amp. So VC is the voltage across capacitor is given to the inverting input terminal of the op amp, and junction of R1 and R2 is connected to the non-inverting input of the op amp. So this circuit diagram is very simple. So you remember the circuit diagram. Now here initially we have to consider something, that is what, number one, initially we have to consider that whatever capacitor we have taken, that capacitor was initially discharged. Whatever capacitor we have taken, that capacitor was initially discharged, means voltage across capacitors VC was 0 volt before turning on the power supply. So that is number one consideration. So when initially the capacitor VC was discharged 0 volt, this terminal will be at 0 volt. Now when you turn on the power supply, due to the output offset voltage of the op amp, initially some voltage comes here in millivolt, and that is sufficient to force the output of the op amp into VSAT plus, that is called high voltage level, that is plus VCC. So initially the output of the op amp will be in plus VCC because our capacitor was discharged, this terminal was 0 volt, here few millivolt comes, therefore voltage at non-inverting, becomes higher by few millivolt than voltage at inverting, and output will be HVL. So that is what initial considerations. So now proceed for that. So step number 1. Initially consider the output voltage of the op-amp Vout is equal to plus 12 volt. Why that I told you. And also consider that Vc is equal to 0 volt. Now this is the initial consideration. So here we have given that diagram. So see here, initially we'll consider Vc is equal to 0 volt. So this point will be 0 volt. And here few millivolt will come. Therefore this will be greater than that. And immediately within a nanosecond, this output will be forced to plus 12 volt. So this is our initial consideration. So this is our first diagram after consideration. Now when this is plus 12 volt, so due to Vout is equal to plus 12 volt, two things happens. Number one, this is a potential divider circuit. Therefore, when this potential divider circuit is getting this point, means input power supply to the potential divider circuit is plus 12 volt. So this junction will be at 6 volt. Why? Because R1 equal to R2. So two things happen when Vout is equal to plus 12 volt. This potential divider will divide it to the 6 volt, and that 6 volt will come over here. So this point will be at how much volt? 6 volt. So that you have to remember, because here we have written 6 volt. So this directly goes over here. So here I have not written 6 volt to avoid the complications. So here it is written 6 volt. So this goes here. So this is one thing happens initially when it is 12 volt. Second thing, this 12 volt we connected to the capacitor through the resistor R. This 12 volt we connected to the capacitor through the resistor R. Therefore, capacitor which was initially discharged now gets connected to the battery of 12 volt, because plus VCC is your 12 volt battery, and that plus output is plus 12 volt. So this 12 volt will now get connected to the R, and R is connected to C. Therefore, capacitor C will start charging, and that I will represent in the graph. And let us go to the graph so you will understand very clearly. This is the graph. On x-axis there is a time, on y-axis there is a voltage, above x-axis there is a positive voltage, below x-axis there is a negative voltage. Positive voltage is called HVL, which is equal to plus VCC, that is also called as Vsat plus. Negative voltage is called as LVL, that is equal to minus VE. So here everything is given. HVL equal to plus VCC equal to Vsat plus, comma, LVL equal to minus VE equal to Vsat minus. So in this way, here this initially what we have considered, initially the output of op-amp is in HVL. So see, initially we have shown at a time t is equal to 0 HVL, output is in HVL, and initially capacitor was discharged. So here this is the charging and discharging of capacitor. Can you see? Yes. And this is the output. This is the output. Sometime HVL equal to plus VCC, sometime LVL equal to minus VE. So initially we consider output in HVL, and capacitor start charging from what volt? 0 volt. And see here, capacitor will never get charged in this circuit to HVL. Capacitor will get charged to beta into Vsat. So what is beta? Beta is half. What is Vsat? Vsat is equal to plus VCC, means 12 volt. Means capacitor will get charged to 6 volt only. So this point is marked with the red arrow. Charging of capacitor will start from 0 volt and it will go to 6 volt only. It will get charged to beta into Vsat. Beta is the R2 divided by R1 plus R2. We have taken R1, R2 same. Therefore, beta is half. And Vsat plus is your plus VCC is equal to HVL is equal to plus 12 volt. Now, this is first part only. You look here. Initially HVL, capacitor starts charging, and then we'll go to our circuit diagram. So initially when our capacitor was 0 volt and this was few millivolt, immediately the output of op-amp forces to 12 volt. So because of that, two things happen. Here 6 volt comes, so this point will be 6 volt, and this 12 volt will going to apply to the capacitor through R. So capacitor will start charging from 0 volt. Now consider that capacitor is charging from 0 volt onwards. So instead of going to that diagram below, here I have this diagram. Now capacitor voltage goes on increasing. 1 volt, 2 volt, 3 volt, 4 volt, 5 volt and 6 volt. Now let us see exactly at 6 volt what happens, because this point is at 6 volt. Non-inverting is at 6 volt. So suppose capacitor charges to 6 volt. So voltage across capacitor is 6 volt, means this point is also 6 volt and this point is also 6 volt. So here I have taken that into consideration that both the points are at 6 volt. See here, Vc is equal to 6 volt. This point is also at 6 volt. Now what will be the output of the op-amp? Output of op-amp will be 0 volt because both the inputs are same. Now this condition, whatever we studied over here, we'll go and observe in case of output diagram. So when capacitor voltage goes to 6 volt exactly here, see, HVL goes directly to the 0 volt here. HVL goes directly to the 0 volt. Now we'll see according to circuit diagram. So now here, suppose your capacitor is at 6 volt. This voltage is again at 6 volt, so output will be 0 volt. So HVL change its state from HVL to 0. But remember now, the capacitor will just cross the 6 volt because this was at 12 volt. Because this output was at what? 12 volt. Therefore, capacitor was started charging from 0 volt. So capacitor will just cross the 6 volt. Just means how much we have considered? We have considered 6.01. See here, 6.01. 6.01 means how much? 6.01 volt. 0.01 volt is equal to 10 millivolt. 0.01 volt is equal to 10 millivolt. And in this way, 10 millivolt is sufficient to change the output state. So here, when this capacitor crosses just above 6 volt, voltage at this terminal becomes greater than this. Just 1 minute before, both were at the same 6 volt and 6 volt. Therefore, we wrote here 0 volt. HVL changes its state from HVL to 0 volt. But now, the moment as soon as the voltage at the capacitor just crosses above 6 volt, this voltage becomes greater than this and output of the op-amp goes to minus 12 volt. Output of op-amp goes to minus 12 volt, and that is represented in the diagram over here. See, exactly just above 6 by 10 millivolt only, output goes to 0 and thereafter LVL. Thereafter LVL, that is minus 12 volt. So here LVL is equal to minus VE is equal to minus 12 volt. Now let us see the conditions. How does it becomes? When this becomes minus 12 volt output, two things happen again. In plus 12 volt also two things were happening. Charging was happening and this point was at plus 6 volt. Now in minus 12, two things happens. As soon as this output becomes minus 12 volt, this potential divider circuit, now input supply is minus 12. Therefore, this point will not be at plus 6. This point will be at minus 6. Because R2 divided by R1 plus R2 same, but input power supply to the potential divider circuit is minus 12. Therefore, this point will go to minus 6. So I have not written over here. So you have to look at this point. It is a minus 6. So this is one thing happen. And secondly, now the output minus 12 volt is permanently connected through R to the capacitor. So the capacitor which was charged to 6.01 volt or just above 6 volt, now that capacitor will start discharging because this terminal is at very low negative voltage minus 12 volt. So as compared to plus 6 voltage of the capacitor, this is minus 12 volt. So it is very negative voltage. Therefore, capacitor's discharging action will start from 6 volt. So now let us go to the output. So see here, the moment as soon as both voltages become same, HVL changes and HVL goes to 0. But when capacitor goes just above 6 volt, HVL goes in LVL because voltage at inverting becomes greater than voltage at non-inverting. LVL will remain there and the capacitor will start discharging. This is discharge paths here. And capacitor will start discharging from 6 volt and below that minus 6 volt, then 5 volt, then 3 volt, then 2 volt, then 0 volt. But now below 0 the capacitor get discharged. So in other language it is also called, it is charge in reverse direction. Discharge in reverse direction, but we'll use the simple language only. Capacitor will continue to discharge even below 0.6 volt and it discharges till minus 6 volt. It discharges till minus 6 volts. So that we'll see why it happens. So here, the moment as soon as this terminal goes to minus 12 volt, two things happen. This point will change its voltage from plus 6 to minus 6. So this is minus 6. Now capacitor started discharging from 6.0 1 volt. And as I told you, discharging when it starts, so from 6 volt onwards, it will coming down to the 0 volt. So now suppose this is at 0 volt, capacitor is discharged at volt 0 volt, and below 0 suppose it is minus 6 volt. So here that diagram only. So here the same diagram is there. So now when capacitor voltage is below 0, minus 1, minus 2, and say minus 6.01, when capacitor started discharging from 6.01, it will discharge 5 volt, 4 volt, 3 volt, 2 volt, 1 volt, 0 volt, and below 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, like that. When voltage across capacitor becomes minus 6.01, so look at the diagram now. This point is at minus 6 only because output of op amp was thrown at minus 12 volt. So this was at minus 6. Therefore, in this diagram, see here, this point was at minus 6 and capacitor started discharging. So then when it comes to minus 6.1 volt, compare, this was at minus 6 volt and this is minus 6.1 volt. So within a fraction of second, what will happen? The two voltages will be compared by the op amp, and op amp observe that here there is a minus 6 volt and here there is a minus 6.01 volt. So minus 6.01 volt is more negative, or in another language, minus 6 volt is positive than minus 6.01, because minus 6.01 is higher magnitude as compared to 6 volt. But now minus 6 volt will become positive as compared to minus 6.1 volt, and output of op amp will be immediately thrown into the VSAT plus, that is HVL, that is plus 12 volt. And as soon as the output of op amp will be immediately thrown to the plus 12 volt, two things again happen. One thing, potential divider will change its voltage, and it was minus 6, now it will become again plus 6. That is one thing. And now the capacitor which is discharged to minus 6.1 volt will start charging from minus 6.01 to plus 6.01, and that we are going to show you with the help of diagram over here. See, capacitor started discharging from 6 volt, gone 0, then below 0, minus 6. So when minus 6.1 volt the voltage across capacitor comes, op amp compares two voltages, voltage at inverting, that is voltage across capacitor, minus 6.1, and voltage at non-inverting, it was minus 6. Therefore minus 6 becomes positive, voltage at non-inverting becomes positive, and op amp's output will be thrown here. Just when it crosses here, op amp's output will be thrown from LVL to HVL. And again the capacitor will start charging from minus 6.01 volt to plus 6.01 volt, and in this way continuous charging discharging action will takes place. So here the circuit is very simple. I have explained you with the help of different diagrams. So this is, you can say that now the first position, but there is a difference in this first position and this, because first of all output was in HVL but this voltage was 0. Now voltage across capacitor is not 0 because it is discharged to minus 6.0 volt, and in this way now you can understand that the capacitor charges to the voltage of beta into VSAT plus. So VSAT plus is sometimes written like this only, plus over here, and then VSAT, or this plus here only. So it is read like this, VSAT plus. Capacitor charges to the voltage of beta into VSAT plus, or beta into VSAT, beta into plus VCC, because plus VSAT is equal to plus VCC. And again you have understood that capacitor discharges to the voltage of beta into minus VSAT, or that point which is there in Vx is equal to beta into minus VE. Minus VSAT means minus VE. So now here you can understand very well. In the beginning only the capacitor started charging from 0 to plus 6, but later on capacitor always charges from minus 6 to plus 6 and discharges from plus 6 to minus 6. So this is the voltage. Now why plus 6 only? Because our power supply is plus 12 volt and beta is half, because R1 equal to R2. Therefore it is said that to what value the capacitor will charge, that is decided by value of R1, R2 and power supply. Value of R1 and R2 and power supply. That is one thing. Secondly, how long capacitor will take to charge to 6 volt, or how long the capacitor will take to discharge from +6 to -6. So charging time of the capacitor T charge is from -6 to +6 and T discharge is from +6 to -6. So this T charge and T discharge is decided by what factor? Is decided by value of R and C itself. Is decided by value of R and C itself, because suppose here this output is 12 volt and your resistor is in mega ohm and capacitor is very big, then this 12 volt will take very long time to charge the capacitor, because value of capacitor is big, means in farad, resistor is in mega ohm. And vice versa, in opposite case, if this is a 12 volt only but value of resistor is in few ohm and capacitor is in microfarad, very small capacitor, then by that 12 volt capacitor will get charged very fast and it will go to the +6 volt level very fast, and it will also go to the -6 volt level very fast, because discharging and charging of this capacitor takes place through same resistor R. Discharging and charging of this capacitor takes place through same resistor R. Therefore, you can understand the logic. Now here this voltage is 6 volt. You can change the value of R1 and R2 and you can make this voltage as a 3 volt also. Therefore, time required to charge the capacitor to 3 volt will be less. Or you can change this value of R1 and R2 and you can make this voltage as a 9 volt also. So time required to charge the capacitor to 9 volt will be longer as compared to time required to charge the capacitor to 6 volt, and vice versa for discharging also same logic will be applicable. So here overall what we will understand that the charging time of the capacitor is depends on not only value of R and C, but to what value the capacitor should get charged, 6 volt, 9 volt or 3 volt is decided by R1 and R2. Therefore these four components R1 as well as R2 as well as resistor and as well as C plays the role in charging and discharging. This 6 volt may be 3 volt, this 6 volt may be 9 volt. So time required to charge the capacitor to 3 volt will be less. It will get charged to that value very fast. So here this charging time and discharging time is decided by all four components. Therefore it is said that the frequency F present at the output of IC 741 as a stable multivibrator is decided by all that four component, because look at the diagram again. T charge, from where to where capacitor charges? Only in the beginning it charges from 0 to 6, but later on always it charges from -6 volt to +6. So T charged is here, and whenever the capacitor is charging from -6 to +6, remember here at the output HVL is maintained. At the output HVL is maintained. So that you have to remember like what? In the beginning when capacitor was discharged, the output of the op-amp we considered as the HVL, because voltage across capacitor was 0 volt, inverting voltage 0 volt. Therefore, output was HVL. So during charging process of the capacitor, at the output there is HVL, and that HVL plus 12 volt was charging the capacitor from 0 to +6. So during charging time, what is maintained at the output? HVL is maintained. During discharging time, at the output, what is maintained? LVL is maintained. So in this way, during discharging, LVL is maintained. During charging, HVL is maintained. So the time required to charge the capacitor and time required to discharge the capacitor decides the frequency, because frequency is nothing but the positive edge to next adjacent positive edge distance into time per division knob, and that is the time. But this total time is divided into T1 and T2, where T1 is equal to T charge and T2 is equal to T discharge. So here see, HVL equal to plus VCC is equal to plus VSAT, LVL equal to minus V equal to minus VSAT, T1 is equal to T charge. This T total T is divided into T1 and T2. So T1 is equal to T charge, T2 is equal to T discharge, and total time T is equal to positive edge to positive edge or negative edge to negative edge to adjacent negative edges to adjacent positive edges. So total time T is equal to T charge plus T discharge, and in this way frequency F is equal to 1 by T. So if you understood this diagram along with all that considerations, step number 1, 2, 3, 4. So in the beginning only, we have considered something, and that consideration is output voltage of the op-amp is plus 12 volt and capacitor is at 0 volt. So if you understood this as a 0 volt and this as a 12 volt, immediately you will say that when this is a 12 volt, two things happens. Here it will come plus 6 volt because this is a plus 12, and capacitor will start charging from 0 volt to plus 6 volt initially. As soon as it crosses just above 6 volt, because this is plus 6, this voltage becomes greater than that, and op-amp's output will be thrown from VSAT plus, that is HUL, to LVL. This becomes minus 12. As soon as it becomes minus 12 volt, it will go into the minus 6. It will go into minus 6, and again, as soon as this is minus 12, not only this voltage changes, but the capacitor which was charging earlier because of plus 12 volt, now it is a minus 12 volt, their capacitor will discharge. So discharging will start from plus 6 and it will continue to discharge to minus 6. So that is very simple things are there. So in this way, we'll proceed now for a small part which is called derivation for the frequency of a stable multivibrator at the output of IC741. So here frequency f is equal to 1 by t. So this already you completed. Now frequency f is equal to 1 by t. And what is the t? T is the total time. T charge plus t discharge. This t is the total time from positive edge to positive edge adjacent. So in this total time is divided into T1 and T2, that is T charge and T discharge. So as I discussed already, T charge depends on 4 factors. Factor number 1, R value. Factor number 2, C value. Because R capacitor charges through R. R is in mega ohm, less current will go, capacitor will take long time to charge. Capacitor is very big, it will take long time to charge. Secondly, to what value the capacitor you want to charge? Here we have taken 6 volt because our beta is half and plus VCC is 12 volt. You can change the beta, and the voltage to which the capacitor is to be charged can be changed. So if it is less, capacitor will charge fast. If it is more, capacitor will charge slow. Means it will take more time to go to that high voltage. It will take more time. So in this way, 4 factors are important. So now, second very important thing which I told you in the beginning only, that capacitor charges exponentially and discharges exponentially. This is very important. Capacitor charges exponentially, not linearly, because it is not charging through constant current source. Capacitor charges exponentially and discharges exponentially, and that we have shown in the output waveform of IC741, both combining together, charging exponential, discharging exponential, charging exponential, discharging exponential. So here, let us go to the theory part. The capacitor C charges through the resistor R, and it also discharges through same resistor R. But the beta factor decides the charging voltage along with power supply and discharging also. So power supply is 12 volt and beta is half. That's why our charging voltage, our voltage to which the capacitor was charged was 6 volt. But if I change the power supply to 18 volt and beta is half only, because op-amp we can apply plus minus 18 also, then your charging voltage, means voltage at the junction of an R1 and R2, is 9 volt, 18 divided by 2. So here you read it, you will understand, very simple. Next, therefore T charge, T1 is equal to T charge. T charge depends on what? As I told you, 4 factor. It depends first of all on the value of resistor, because if it is in mega ohm, capacitor will take long charge time. It depends on the value of C, because how big the capacitor or how small the capacitor. So these two parameters come first. Okay. Log to the base E. Why the log to the base E? Because capacitor charges exponentially. Capacitor charges exponentially because in this case, in the beginning, when capacitor voltage was 0 volt, the output was 12 volt and potential difference was maximum between voltage across capacitor and output. There is a resistor, and as time increases, the potential difference decreases, therefore current is not constant, and therefore capacitor charges exponential. Therefore this log to the base E. Now where is R1 and R2? So that we'll see here, beta is equal to R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So here T charge is equal to RC log to the base E in square bracket 1 plus beta divided by 1 minus beta. 1 plus beta divided by 1 minus beta. So this is, we have taken into the round bracket to avoid the confusions, mathematical confusion. So the equation is very simple. T charge depends on 4 factors. Number 1, value of R. Number 2, value of C. So RC comes here. Capacitor charges exponential, therefore log E. And into bracket 1 plus beta divided by 1 minus beta, because capacitor charges to plus 6 volt and discharges to minus 6 volt. So that is the ratio you have to remember. And then similarly, T2 is equal to 2 discharge. There is no change in the equation because the direction with which the capacitor charges, see, always the capacitor charges due to this minus 12 volt, it is discharging in the same this direction, and due to plus 12 volt, it is charging in the same direction. So here it is a plus 12 volt, it charges through R, and then the capacitor current goes to capacitor. When it is minus 12 volt, this discharges through R. So charging path and discharging path is same. Therefore, it is very simple here. If you remember the equation for T charge, then T discharge is same. Now here, convert log base E to the log 10. So when you convert log base E to the log 10, you have to multiply by 2.303. So T charge is equal to 2.303, same R, same C, log to the base 10 into bracket 1 plus beta divided by 1 minus beta. Same T discharge, but total time T is equal to T charge plus T discharge. Therefore, this X parameter and this is again X parameter, so that will come 2X. So here it is 2 times of the same thing. So 2.303 RC log to the base 10 into bracket 1 plus beta divided by 1 minus beta. And in this way now, 2 into 3.303, simple mathematics, 2 into 2, 4, 2 into 3, 6, so 4.606, and the same thing is here. Now substitute the value of beta, R2 divided by R1 plus R2, and that mathematics is very simple. Here beta you have to write down R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Here beta you have to write down R1 plus R2. But remember here it is at the top 1 plus beta and at the minus 1 minus beta. And if you perform that calculation, you will get T is equal to 4.606 RC log to the base 10 into bracket 1 plus R2 times of R2 divided by R1. 1 plus 2 times of R2 divided by R1. And this is the time for the total time period of the square wave present at the output. This total time from positive edge to positive edge or from negative edge to negative edge, the total time. So if you know the total time, then I think so frequency is very simple, because F is equal to 1 by T. And in this way, you can understand that there is very simple logic. Now this is another diagram, but in this diagram there is a problem, so you don't go to that diagram. I think so I have covered everything. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope that you understood a stable multivibrator design by using IC741. The important thing which is to be noted over here is HVL of the IC741 is equal to plus VCC equal to plus 12 volt, and LVL is equal to minus VEE equal to minus 12 volt. So square wave generated by using IC741 is having LVL below x-axis, LVL below x-axis. Otherwise, the definition is very simple of a stable multivibrator. Neither HVL is permanent nor LVL is permanent. If you generate the square wave by IC555 as a stable multivibrator, LVL is 0 volt because IC555 works on single power supply. Op-amp works on dual power supply. And in this way, we will conclude that this topic is over. So you read and you read my notes as well as you watch this video again and again, and you will understand all the concepts very clear. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you.